Hi, everybody. Welcome to the MSD of Wayne Township, Office of Special Services, Short Share number 3. Today, you have Mr. Todd Hawks here.
Hello.
And I am Penny Gregory, and we are the Assistant Directors of Special Services for Elementary, Mr. Hawks, and I am for Secondary. Today, we want to talk about what, Mr. Hawks?
We're going to talk about extended school year, commonly known as ESY. So I want to talk real quick about the Article 7 definition. ESY means special education and related services that are provided to a student with a disability beyond the normal school year or instructional day in accordance with the student's IEP. So that means it has to be a case conference decision and at no cost to the parent or student. And then it also meets the standards of the Department of Education. So the DOE has put out a technical assistance document, and they put it out in 2020. We're going to go over some of those points to help you in determining the need for ESY with students.
So the first thing that the DOE talked about is the case conference committee considering a student's need for extended school year in the context of the student's individualized education program, the individual needs, and the provision of a FAPE, or free and appropriate public education. So those are the targeted items you need to keep in mind when thinking about extended school year services.
So considering a student's needs for ESY can include a variety of factors like progress on IEP goals, if they have a history of regression or lack of recruitment of a critical skill, if we predict that because of an upcoming extended period of time, they may regress or lack recruitment of a skill, if they have lost independence due to having caretakers with them, if there's a likelihood if we don't provide services, they could end up in a more restrictive placement, or if there's a breakthrough learning opportunity, and any other special circumstances. What is important about this, though, is we need to consider all of these factors, but the determination could be based on just a single factor, depending on the student's need.
The other thing we need to think about is that that information could be historical or predictive in nature. So you can't rule out the fact that maybe a parent can bring information to you that shows a history of regression or really a lot of struggle in recoupment of information. So please consider both with the supporting data.
Also, the DOE shares with us that under some circumstances, the case conference committee might not be able to determine the needs at the time that the case conference is convened. So maybe the ACR is in the fall and the team wants to see how the school year goes and happens later. Maybe the ACR is in a couple of weeks from now, but we may need to collect more data on progress to determine the need. In this case, the committee needs to include in the notes and the report what date it will reconvene to reconsider. So we think there's going to be a need to talk again about ESY, document when we're going to do that again, and then make sure that we do that, and also have written a plan for what information we're going to collect to determine the need and how we're going to collect that.
What you absolutely do not want to do as a case conference committee is wait until after the summer happens. So you can't say, well, let's wait and see what happens in the absence of providing ESY services. Go ahead, and now is a great time. It's March 5th. We would, really push you to start thinking about students who may need these services based on the best evaluative data you have now. And that can be historical or predictive again. So in the sense that you want to determine this, it doesn't have to be you have a whole lot of historical data. You could say, you know what, we do have some of this predictive data, and you can use that as well.
Also, the case conference committee meeting where the determination is made should be conducted in enough time for the school and the district to exhaust all other remedies that may be done instead of ESY, so interventions, if there are additional programs or supports that could happen. I would also add here that this needs to be conducted in enough time so that the district and schools can determine how to staff ESY as well. So that's why we're encouraging you to do this as soon as possible. It's unlikely you'll have an ACR towards the end of the year, but if you do, we recommend having it sooner than later to make sure that we can determine the need for ESY and make sure that student has the right supports for that programming.
So you can review technical assistance document on the IDOE website, review the checklist with your case conference committee, and then if services are determined, complete the Google form that we'll provide for you. And then if you have any questions, reach out to Office of Special Services. Now, we want to tell you there is a difference between compensatory ed services, extended school year services, summer school, and what we're calling recovery services. And that'll be in our short share, hopefully next week, and then we'll get more information out to you. But we wanted to really talk about ESY because we're in that season. Remember, you can talk about ESY at any time, and you don't have to consider ESY just for summer. ESY can happen before or after school. It could happen during holiday breaks if that's what the case conference committee decides. So there are other alternatives for that. It is not exclusive to summertime.
Yeah, I think that's it, Ms. Gregory. And just keep in mind that we are in the time of COVID-19, and there could be a lot of circumstances involved with determining this. Historically, ESY has happened for a small number of students, but if you have any questions about who needs it, need some collaboration, want to talk through it together, don't hesitate to reach out to us and we can help do that with you.
Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time.